Okay. So I will say again that I am Donna Leyens. I am the co-founder with Mike Michalowicz of Pumpkin Plan Your Biz. And we started Pumpkin Plan Your Biz like 1,000 years ago, or maybe just 11 years ago, right before Mike published the physical book, The Pumpkin Plan. And we are just so excited that Lit Video Books has decided to turn this into a mini movie. I call it a Pumpkin Plan the movie. And we recruited Stephen Bousquet, who is the owner and founder of American Lawn and Landscape. Did I get that right, Steve?
American Landscape and Lawn
And
Science.
Lawn Science. Darn, I can never, it's a very long name and I'm old, so it's hard to always remember.
It's a very, very long name.
Yes. And Steve, the reason why Steve was chosen to be, oh, if somebody is not muted, please make sure you're all stay muted unless you're speaking, just to eliminate background noise. So Steve, I will let you tell your story. But first, I also, in case anyone doesn't know, Mike Michalowicz is the author of The Pumpkin Plan. And he has written, how many books have you written, Mike, now?
Officially 10. Officially 10. And 11th in January will be published.
Wow. Okay. And The Pumpkin Plan is your second
book. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that stack of books right there, but what that is all the translations. And so I did book by book, all the translations, and Pumpkin Plans on the second shelf going up. I'm looking at I think it's the Chinese edition right now.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty
That's
neat.
Exciting. That's very exciting. So what we're going to do today, we showed you the jar of little pumpkin candies. That's going to be one of our contests. We're going to have 3 contests throughout the hour, and we will give away 3 free 1-year all access pass to the Lit Video Book Library. And they have some, I mean, they have Mike Michalowicz, which is amazing. And Profit First is another one of their books, but they also have some other really, truly amazing small business and entrepreneurial authors. So whoever wins those will really enjoy it. And you can also purchase it yourself if you're not the winner. I'm going to put this in the chat. I'm going to post in the chat. We have some coupon codes for you for purchasing either. You can either purchase the individual book or you can purchase the whole all access pass. So I'm just going to give you the link to the Pumpkin Plan book and the coupon codes, if 50% off an all access pass, or you can buy just the Pumpkin Plan book for $5. Okay, so what I think I'll do, Mike, are you here with us for the whole hour, or do you need to jump off at any point?
I hate to do this. I have to jump off in about a half hour. I have to leave for the Netherlands and have to get prepared. I'm speaking out there the day after tomorrow. However that works.
Yeah, in the future.
in the future, and then heading to London and Australia. I'm so happy that the books and the work that we're all doing collectively it's hit a global presence.
Yeah, and we have a number of people from Australia who are on with us tonight.
I'm heading to Perth, Sydney, Brisbane, and Melbourne.
Awesome.
So I'm doing all the majors.
Totally awesome.
And Canberra, I think too.
Fun, very fun. You're going to be tired when you get back, though.
Oh yeah.
So, what I thought I'd do then, I want to start with Mike. You and I met right before, about like 6 or 8 months before the Pumpkin Plan was published.
Yeah.
And I think that the backstory about like how people are always like, what is this? Like, why are you talking about pumpkins?
Yeah.
I think you should share the backstory of how you got the idea to write a business book that featured pumpkins.
Yeah. And then how it triggered us meeting. So
And
the
how
back,
you almost killed me, but
and
that's a
then
whole
I almost
other
killed you.
story.
And this is all true in context. It wasn't
Yeah.
a murder
Yeah.
attempt. It was manslaughter.
No, he didn't do it on purpose. No.
So, the opening story in the Pumpkin Plan, I share about Frank Mignatolo. He was my first ever business coach and worked with me for 15 or 20 years. He helped me grow my businesses. And it's a true story. When I first hired him was back in the mid 90s, before business coaches or coaching was really a thing. And he came into my business, he did this evaluation, and he said, okay, I know what we need to do. We need to take you to a watermelon farm. And the pumpkin plant was originally the watermelon way. I don't know what the alliteration would be, but he was explaining to me how watermelons grow, and that by changing the process just by a little, you get this colossal result. This is a story I don't think I've ever shared before. And so we're like, oh, okay. He's like, you need to see this in practice. And it was a great lesson in that being exposed to something gives you a different perspective. But there's no watermelon farms in New Jersey. So the next best thing was pumpkins. And sure enough, there was this little ad of this toothy farmer leaning up against this colossal pumpkin the size of the car. And Frank said, that's what I'm talking about. And that became the inception of the Pumpkin Plan. The strategies I teach in the book, and Donna subsequently has taken to such a new and higher level, are the exact fundamental strategies I use in the business. When that book was in process, we had a mutual friend. Donna and I didn't know each other yet at that point. And I said, I need someone that can coach this and build an organization around this, because it worked so well for me. And she's like, I know the person. Her name's Donna Leyens. You got to go meet with her. We met. I think our first meeting, which was intended for 30 minutes, went for 30 hours. It was a big learning experience for me. And I've never met anyone that can coach as well as Donna can coach coaches. But in that moment, I like to joke around. That's how I break the ice. I don't remember what the joke was, but there was probably a voice impersonation involved. And Donna was taking a sip of coffee. It was the wrong time, or maybe it was a
No,
bagel.
I was eating.
Bagel
It was a breakfast meeting, and I took a bite of a sandwich
at the wrong time, and I do my Bill Clinton or whatever it was, and instead of exhaling, she inhaled. And for a second there, it was scary. For a second there, it's like, oh my God, there's something lodged there. I'm like, do you need the Heimlich? I will, It's like, nope. And she was able to clear it safely, and took a pause. No more jokes. Let's get down to business. And that's how the Pumpkin Plan organization started.
Yeah. It's difficult. I've learned not to eat or drink around Mike. He's just too funny.
Well, yeah. And I'll tell you another story, Donna. I think it will be interesting for everyone, because I think this can relate to your own story. Have you been told it's not possible, or it won't work, or you shouldn't do that when starting your business or creating a new product? Donna introduced us to an accountant, and I remember this. We went in to meet with the accountant. We were talking about the business structure, and the accountant said, "Oh, this, don't worry about that. This model won't work." I'm abbreviating what he said, but for me, that was almost like a line in the sand. Oh, we have to prove this now, and it speaks for itself, the impact that our organization's having. And thank you for everyone what you're doing. I hope it's serving you, because you're definitely serving your clients.
Yeah, we've got a number of Pumpkin Plan strategists here today. And I just put in the chat the link to our website, pumpkinplanyourbiz.com, where we give away a free Pumpkin Plan booster pack. So it's a few tools that you can use to get started on applying the Pumpkin Plan to your business. And also, I just think the video book is a great 23-minute overview. It's like Steve said to me this afternoon, he thinks it's kind of similar to a TED Talk, although better than a TED Talk, because we've got a couple of people and we've got great graphics. And, Mike, I do think, going back 11 years, I don't think we could have even imagined how much impact very simple strategy, right? It's in the name of the book, a simple strategy to grow a remarkable business in any field.
It's there's no cloak. It's the Pareto principle translated to a new way of consuming it, the 80-20, among other things, but that's the core essence of it. And no, I couldn't have imagined that it would have turned into a video series. To give context, Pumpkin Plan will likely sell probably tens of thousands of copies this year. Profit First did that already, and there are other authors will. So it just gives a new level of exposure to new readers. I invite folks, if you decide to pick up a copy, thank you. It gets the word out, but perhaps you can also gift it or encourage your prospects to read it or to explore it. Like Steve shared, it's like a little mini movie. It doesn't compromise the services you're going to provide to them. It sets the stage for it. And I think it's a really consumable way. They don't even need to read the book, so to speak. It gives them enough of a teaser to get prepared for work with you.
And there are a lot of business owners here too, Mike. And I don't know, some of them may have
Yeah.
not read the Pumpkin Plan yet. So if you're not a reader and you prefer to watch a video, this is it. This is the quick way to consume the key major points in the book that you can make a shift in your business right away. You know,
and just want to add, the nicest thing, and I know Steve's gonna talk in a second. Steven, his story's in there, and it's not this little vignette. It's the full story, and you can see his application of the wish list and vetting out clients and the vendor well, and these different elements and interacting with clients. So I think it gives us, if you check it out, gives you the experience that you may have too, not just from a teaching standpoint, but from a practical case study.
Absolutely. And I also want to give a shout out. I see Andrea Walker is here with us of Smartly Organized. Hi, Andrea. Andrea was an early Pumpkin Plan client who also applied the Pumpkin Plan to her business and had some pretty extraordinary results as well. So thanks for coming, Andrea. I appreciate it. So yeah, Mike, do you remember when we first met, Steve? Or Steve, do you want to tell the story of how you met Mike?
The first meeting, I don't remember when the first meeting was. Maybe it's Sabrina's. I don't recall.
Yeah. Steve, you want to unmute and tell the story of how you navigated your way into meeting Mike and me?
So I just signed up for a retreat because Mike Michalowicz is going to be there, and he's my favorite author, right? My favorite business author. And so I'm like, oh, he's going to be at this retreat. So I signed up for this retreat to go and meet him, and he missed the first day. So then I had to hang out with Donna and get to meet her and Andrea and spend time with them. So that was wonderful. And then Mike showed up, and he was really funny and cool. I had no idea he was so much a comedian and had all these interesting, funny voices. And it was really cool because we do these like breakout sessions where we can, it's called Q storming, and where you can ask a really powerful question, and they put you in a group and they ask you other questions to get you thinking about things that you might not have considered. And Mike was in that group with me, and Roger Dooley, and so we had a really powerful group. So it was kind of my introduction to Mike, and so I was not disappointed, and it really confirmed where I was heading with what I had learned in his books, and to keep that momentum going.
Okay, so I want to pause here and do our first contest. All right. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put the picture up on the screen really large. Give me a second to share my screen. Okay. So can everybody see that glass of pumpkin candies? I hope you can. I'm going to leave it there for a minute. And what I want you to do is take a guess how many candies are in that glass and post it in the chat. And I'm going to give you guys a minute to do that. And whoever comes closest, or if somebody hits it on the nose, you win the first free all access pass. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it there for another minute or two. Mike, you're not allowed to play, but everybody else is eligible.
I understood. I have a guess. Just as people put the numbers in, Donna, I was just reading a study of the group mind, and when it comes to situations like this, that when you average out people's guesses, it's hauntingly accurate.
Really
Yeah, yeah,
interesting. Well,
yeah.
we'll see how accurate this group is. I know there is a little, because everybody can see everybody else's answer, people might be influenced, but all right. I'm going to stop the share. And so Steve, you're the one who has the number.
Yes, I counted every single one of them.
Oh, there they are.
There's 55 in this glass.
All right, so let's see, did anyone
Oh, I
guess
see.
I saw some
55?
55s.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, what do we do if we have more than 155? We might have to just give away. We might not be able to give away the other two. We might have to do it just for this contest. Okay. I see a few 56s. Did you see a 55?
I saw
All right.
some 55s, yeah.
All
Let's
right.
see.
So here's what I'm going to do. I will look for that. And while I'm looking, Steve, I'm going to ask you to share, just tell us what your business, tell us a little bit about your business, what it looked like before you pumpkin planned, and what was the biggest impact after you read the book and made some changes. Like, what made the biggest impact on your business right away?
Okay. So I see Kelsey at 55. So, you know, I
Kelsey
started.
did? Wait, Kelsey
Yes.
Ayers?
It just says Kelsey, yeah.
Okay.
And I think there was somebody else. Okay. So I started my business 40 years ago. We're celebrating 40 years this year. On September 22nd, we're having a big celebration with our team and our vendors. But so 40 years ago, I was 18 years old, and I start this business with this really powerful, impactful business plan of, if I could get 8 lawns at $25 a cut, that would be $200 a week, and which minus expenses would mean I would be making what I was making at minimum wage at $3.25. And I was I did the stop slow all summer, and my number one strength is activator, which is go, and I'm easily distracted. So you can imagine standing in a road with my orange vest, stop slow all day. I would do anything, even push mow lawns, not to stand there all summer doing stop slow. So that was the plan. 8 lawns, $25, $200 a week. And, now we're doing around $5 million annually with a team of 28 people. So I am not one of those business owners that said, I had this vision, I knew what this was going to be. I did not. I worked hard, made so many mistakes and screwed up, and just didn't know how to stop or quit, and just kept moving forward. And 2015, I was stuck in the Philadelphia airport. We had missed our plane. My friend texted me, hey, have you ever heard of this book, The Pumpkin Plan? I said, no, I never did. Somehow I got on the Philadelphia Wi-Fi, downloaded the book, got on the plane to Mexico, showed up, read the book on my iPad, which I thought was so cool back in 2015. I read the book, I reread certain chapters, and I was so excited, could not wait to get back and start to implement this. And when the owner comes back from vacation and he's like, hey, we're going to do this new thing, my team just looked at me, which was a team of about 12 then. They're like, okay, another Steve idea. But I stuck with it. I bought, I don't know, a dozen copies of the book, and my whole team read it. We had kind of a book club about it, and we were doing okay. But, I was in that work 60, 65 hours a week. I was spending about 6% of my revenue on advertising and marketing, and going on horrible leads. I would be out till 8 o'clock at night chasing leads and everything. So, I would miss all Saturdays were doing estimates, and Sunday was writing up these proposals. So I was working 7 days a week in the spring, really from mid-March until the end of July. And it was a grind. And I literally thought that that's what I was supposed to be doing. I thought that was the way. And Pumpkin Plan shows up, and I'm like, oh, we don't have to take every client. Oh, every dollar is not the same. Oh, wow. We can grade our clients, and there's a system for it. So I started going through the book. I didn't do it all in one day. It took me a good year and a half to really roll it out. And then eventually I worked with a Pumpkin Plan coach. I worked with Sabrina Starling, and I also worked with Christine Era, who was a tremendous help to me, both of them. So, I went from working 65 hours a week to 50 hours a week to, now I have a team of 27. I work on about 20 hours a week on my business. But, we have customers that crushing cringe exercise they put us through. The first time I did it, it was cringe customers. It was searching. So we had to get rid of about 20% of our clientele right off the bat.
Can I just say, I sent out an email to our list a few weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, and the subject line was no more PIA clients, right? The most opens I think we've ever gotten for a subject line. So there is something to that. I don't think you were alone in having a lot of cringeworthy clients, because one of the things the Pumpkin Plan does is it shows you how to identify who are really your best clients, the ones that you really want to work with, who are good for your business, and how do you get rid of the ones that maybe aren't so great. So I want to pause here for a minute and give you all an opportunity. If you have any questions for Steve or Mike, Mike's the author, please post your questions in the chat and we'll do a little Q&A before we keep going. So, and Mike is really good about like ask him anything, right, Mike? Like,
Yeah, give me your
or
biggest
almost
challenge,
anything.
or ask anything.
Ask
Yeah.
anything, what's his favorite color?
What am I going to do with my this is my home office. What am I going to do with it? So you see a stack of books right there.
Yeah.
In case you're wondering,
absolutely.
I'll show you. In case you're wondering.
Okay.
So
we are wondering.
That blank wall, I'm putting up a bookshelf that's going to say READ. So read. And it's about maybe 8 feet across and about 8 feet tall. So it's going to say read.
Okay. So here's a good question that maybe we could all put our heads together about. If your business is healthcare with filling doctor orders is that what it says? Yeah. How do you cut the cringe clients? So in other words, if you're a doctor, how do you cut the
business is healthcare with filling doctor orders? How do you cut the cringe clients? So I'll give a stab at it. There may have to be some dialogue, like you said. But the first question is, are there cringe customers and are there not cringe customers? And can you differentiate them? If you can differentiate them, if you stopped doing business with the cringes, would that compromise your ability to do business with the non-cringes? So we just kind of vet out, is this practical? Sometimes there's certain standards or government regulation that prohibits you from doing certain moves. So we have to answer those questions first. But then the process of cutting, you do it a few ways. One is to call and say, we can no longer be of service to you. Sometimes it can be a little confrontational. Maybe that's not the preferential way. Another way is to increase your prices. That's one of my preferred ways. Is what I found is best customers generally appreciate you. And when you increase prices, often say, whoa, that took you longer than I expected. I'm happy to be working with you. And I got that deal in the past. But bad customers or cringe customers usually say, you can't do this to me. So you can raise prices for all customers, or you can do selective price increases. Another way, which is a little more covert, is you can go into a contractual agreement. So what you could do is you can go to these cringe doctors and say, hey, we've entered a contractual agreement with some other group, and you don't have to share the details of the agreement. It could be a verbal agreement or not, and say, this is going to preclude us from being able to continue to do work with you. And here's the time frame. In any cases, I always like to never burn a bridge, of course, and to direct these cringe customers ideally to alternative solutions for them. So I try to get that up front.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And I know this is a totally different industry, but Steve got rid of his worst customers. Do you want to mention how you eliminated your worst customers, Steve?
Yeah, and then somebody asked me like, how did my life change after that? So worst customers we identified, they pay late, they don't ever get referrals, they complain a lot, they always buy the lowest and cheapest offering or the fewest amount of offerings that we have. So basically we switched from you have to buy everything and you have to buy. So for us, that was all the visits that we do. And you have to either pay in full to start with us or you pay at scheduled times of the year. So everything was prepaid, because in our business, if you don't prepay it and the next treatment is due, we have to wait until you pay. And what happens is there's 3 houses on a street. We treat 2 houses. Then the person that didn't pay sees that we were there. So then they pay. Then we have to go back and treat that house. Now they're out of schedule. So it can be very expensive, and we run these big diesel trucks. So that was the first thing we did, was say, hey, you have to buy a minimum and this is how you have to pay. And that got rid of a certain amount of people. And then the other thing, we just had tough conversations with some customers who were really complaining. And we said, you're never happy with what we do. So you're going to find another service provider. And they would argue with us, even though we have this call log of years of complaining. So there was quite a few people that we had that were below the minimum that we needed and were in that complaining. So how did it change after that? We really got to focus on, our better customers, spend more time with them, take care of them more, pay more attention to them, be more proactive. But at the very end of the book video, if you watch it all the way to the end, I mentioned a mental health component. And it is grading mentally and emotionally to deal with these, we call them gourds or weeds. They will wear you out, because nothing you do is ever good enough. Nothing is ever right. And so I will definitely, share that as a mental health issue, it definitely helps to deal with your crush customers, because the energy is there. You're excited. It's just a whole different experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And somebody else asked a similar question. How would you qualify your clients from the get-go when you're just beginning to build a book of business? And I can answer that on one level, which is figuring out who your best clients are is a process. So we don't recommend that you just do this once and never do it again. Do it once, get a sense of who your best clients are and who your worst clients are, and focus your marketing, focus your language, focus on what those best clients want and need from you, and put that out there in a way that a lot of your clients and potential clients will hopefully self-select. And the more specific you can be, the better. So if you're talking to people about exactly what they care about, and there are other people who are so for example, you might have price shoppers, people who are just looking for the lowest price. Don't be the lowest price. Don't discount to get clients if you don't want those clients or customers that are just only looking for a deal. So think about what you want in a customer and what might attract those better customers, and then observe the process and make sure that you're consistently evaluating who your best clients are. And there is also a technique that's in the book and it's talked about in the video called the wish list interviews, which also gives you a really good insight into how to talk to your prospects and how to talk to your existing clients so that your best clients remain your best clients and you attract more like them and don't attract the customers and clients that are just not a good fit for you. And I don't know, Mike, do you have anything to add to that?
Not particularly. I think you nailed it. Just a little observation I had when working with startup businesses. In the beginning stage, the business has to survive. And I've seen people apply wish lists, processes, and so forth too early on when they don't have enough to fuel the business. So in the beginning, we have to get business. And sometimes at that stage, any business is good business, but not for long.
No, and I will remind you, Mike, I don't know if you remember this, but the first group of Pumpkin Plan strategists that came into our program, we identified 2 top clients. This was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And those 2 are still with us today.
Yeah.
10
Oh,
years
yeah.
later.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Yeah, in our own growth. That's right.
it's never too early to start, but don't be too attached
Right.
to.
Don't be, yeah, and don't be
Yeah.
exclusionary either.
Yeah.
So some people hear this and they say, oh, it's specialization, but they hear it's exclusive. And that's not the same case. Specialization is where you cater your skills and your marketing to a community and let it grow. But as other opportunities come in, if it's going to serve the business, we'll take those opportunities.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a long question here for Mike. Let's see if I can, from Jeremy, let's see if I could call out the question. Oh, so he read Profit First. He started a healthcare clinic 9 months ago, and he's working on determining his top clients. He wears a lot of hats. And what do I not know that I need to know? That is kind of a good question. So as he has Fix This Next. So he's reading a lot. He's trying to start up, kind of heading in the right direction. But I think it is, a lot of times we don't know what we don't know. As
Yeah.
someone who knew nothing when she started her first business, I relate to that. So in my, the way I see this question, it's kind of like, what would be your best piece of advice for somebody who's brand new? And
was it that movie City Slickers when Curly comes to Billy Crystal and says the one thing, this is it. And what it is identifying one priority. And here's the funny thing, Jeremy, in the early stages of a business, they're generally, everything's important. Therefore, anything that you select to do will probably enhance the business. So it's hard to do wrong. The mistake I see is people trying to do everything partially, and therefore they never get traction. So I invite you to perhaps start off with, maybe you have enough clients to do a wish list and to start evaluating who your best clients are, because that will trigger a cascade effect of better revenue, more profitability, because you're doing less rework, will enhance efficiency. And then perhaps then we do the next thing, which is implement a profit first system or bring efficiencies through clockworking the business. But pick one thing. And Fix This Next is why I wrote that, because many people struggle. What is the one thing? And the secret is, it's likely a sales related issue, type of clients you have, a profit issue, or an efficiency issue. It's usually one of those three. And in a very early stage, if you pick any of the three, it'll likely enhance your business.
Yeah. I mean, the way the Pumpkin Plan program works, we start with what's your mission, your vision, your purpose, like where are you headed? What is your ultimate vision for your business? And then we say, okay, what's your sweet spot? The sweet spot is, who are your top clients? What's your unique offering? And then where are your systems and processes? Are they allowing you to deliver consistently to your top clients, your unique offering to your top clients? So we start with what we've just been talking about, clients, because if you don't have clients or customers, you don't have money coming in, you don't have a business. So figuring out who you want to serve really is the first step. And like Mike said, then you kind of go through, okay, what are you offering them that's different, that makes you stand out? And then you develop those systems to make sure that you can consistently, efficiently, profitably deliver that. So we have a question from Henry, who is a new Pumpkin Plan strategist. And this is a great question. Henry's basically asking, Mike, was there a big picture plan or mindset to tie all of the concepts together in your series of books? Or did you just, I know how Profit First came about. I was there, but
yeah, you were there. Yeah. And actually, Donna was a big inspiration behind the whole concept in the organization. So there isn't one book I have that ties it all in together. What I found is, and I aspire to write 25 books in my lifetime, and we'll see if that happens, but I've identified 25 needs that are consistent across all businesses of all different sizes and decided I'm going to tackle each issue deeply. And that's what the Pumpkin Plan is in my other books. Is there a unifying concept? There's a unifying approach. So maybe this answers it from the side. What I do is, when I hear feedback from readers with their challenges, and why I wrote All In is I was hearing for the last 5-6 years, hiring is getting harder and harder. And probably today it's harder than it was last year. And it seems to continue this way. Then what I do is I run an analysis of, well, what's the approach people are applying and what's the result we get? So Profit First, which some of you are familiar with, most business owners were reaching out to me saying, I'm not profitable. And I said, well, what do you do? And they said, well, I take my sales, I subtract expenses, and what's left over is profit. And once I identified that's the standard, I ran the analysis and said, well, what's the actual result from that standard approach? And 17% of businesses were actually sustainably profitable. I'm like, oh, our approach is wrong. With All In, identified is almost all businesses use the traditional interviewing process. Post an ad on Indeed, have 5 people go through your interview process, and then try to cherry pick, and the returns are dismal. So I then look at that and say, well, what's a new approach that could be applied in business, or approach that hasn't been used in the past, or perhaps is used in a different industry and can be translated over. Just a quick vignette here is in regards to recruiting. What I identified was in the sports industry, there's a tremendous tremendously successful recruiting program. And what it is camps or workshops. So if you play a sport and you're aspiring to the professional levels, colleges will have these camps where you can come and they'll train you. But what they're actually doing is also evaluating you to put you in their program. And then the professional sports do the same thing. They run these camps to evaluate you. So say, oh my gosh, we need to be running workshops or camps. And we started testing it out, and we've had a couple hundred now experiences of deploying this exact technique. So that's what I do. So the overarching big picture mindset is, what's the established approach? What's the result? And if the result isn't sufficient, what's the new approach that I test out and prove and then write into a book?
Yeah. And I would just like to share. So your first book, Mike, was Toilet Paper Entrepreneur.
Right.
And I had read that book before I met you. And then, or I had met you before, but it was a very brief conversation. So then when we were introduced again, you were about to publish the Pumpkin Plan. And after a number of meetings, and we decided we were going to launch the business together, I remember we were talking about the business structure, and on the back of the envelope, you said, this is how I want to set up our books and our finances. And you sketched out the Profit First system, what became the, and I believe you reference it in the Toilet Paper Entrepreneur, actually. And you said,
Right.
This is how I run my businesses. Are you okay with it? And I kind of went, looks good to me. I'll do that. Right. And so we started the Pumpkin Plan Your Biz from day one was using Profit First.
That's right.
Okay. So about a year after the Pumpkin Plan was published, Mike was asked to do a 2-day workshop for a company called Creative Live. Some of you might be familiar with them. They started out teaching online classes about photography, and then moved into business classes as well. And Mike and I flew out to California, and we did a live in studio, but also live online 2-day, workshop. And we divided up the teaching. And I remember, we came to the Profit First section, and Mike said, do you want to teach it or should I? I said, no, this is your thing, Mike. You teach this. And he asked for a volunteer from our small studio audience. And she came up and he walked her through it, and she was sobbing.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
she really needed, she really needed this in her business. It was very emotional. And the way the whole online course was set up, they had a live chat that they had people monitoring the chat. And so people were watching and writing comments, and the chat just blew up. I think we broke the internet pretty much.
Yeah, there was thousands and thousands of people.
People were like, I need this. How can I find out more? And Mike was planning to write a different book.
Yeah. And
he looked at me at the end of the day. He said, I need to write a book about Profit First and the Profit First system. And remember, well, I'm sure you remember, you pitched it to Penguin and they said no, right?
Yeah.
They said, no, nobody wants this.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
Just to build on that. So, because I suspect we all hear those no's, right? I went to Penguin, said that I'm going to write a book on Profit First and show people how to work with our natural behavior. And this is a key trick to success, is if you're combating who you naturally are, it's going to be a fight in your business for eternity. So the better question to ask is, well, how do I naturally behave and gives me energy, but set systems around that to channel the outcome. So most entrepreneurs log into your bank account. Probably you did at some point in the last few days, maybe even today, to check our bank balance. And so we skip the accounting, we go right to the bank balance. So I said, okay, that's my behavior. Let's leverage that. So I went to Penguin and said, I'd like to write this book. And I said, we don't need another accounting book. I'm like, but it's not. They're like, but it is. We don't need this. And when someone draws a line in the sand, that just steps, I just step up.
Mike was like, oh, yes, we do.
Okay, yes, we do. Reject me. And so then I wrote Profit First as a self-published book. And then went back to Penguin. Well, Penguin actually came back to me and said, oops, not their exact words. And wanted to republish a revised and expanded edition. And it's now sold, well over 1 million copies for them, and they're thrilled. But the lesson for me, and it's what I'm part on everyone here, is whenever you're told no, but your heart knows it's right, it's simply, in many cases, that they don't get it, not yet, and you just got to stick with it. It would have been a shame, I think, if I just gave up on it. So.
Yeah. Oh, I just want to point out, so Diane is talking about managed service providers and how you really struggle with your USP, your unique, I know that stands for unique something.
Selling proposition.
Yes, unique selling proposition. I do want to tell you, and I believe I saw, and Dave Cava is right here on the call, that we have a book coming out, Pumpkin Plan for... It was MSP. What are you calling it, Dave? You can unmute for a second. What's the name of the book?
We use the term TSP.
TSP, which is technology
service provider. It's for MSPs.
Yeah. So help is on the way for that. When do you know yet when it's going to be published?
We're shooting hard for Q1. We've got a completed draft with the first round of edits. We're in pretty good shape, I think, until Mike or AJ tells us otherwise.
Okay. So Mike hasn't read it yet, but it's coming along. So yeah, the managed service providers, the IT companies, if you can't find a differentiator, you do end up competing on price, right? And so I think the Pumpkin Plan strategy can be super helpful. And Dave and his partner, Sean, the two of them have come out of that industry and have been, Sean has been a Pumpkin Plan strategist for 4 or 5 years now, and really seen this work, seen the whole system around determining your sweet spot work really well for helping these businesses to grow.
And Diane, I just say, well, why don't we set up a Zoom offline, and if we can kind of point you in the right direction, we will. So
yeah, go ahead and chat with each other in the.
It's a good idea.
In the message space. Yeah. You're on it, Dave.
I'll give it a thought around USPs though, because here it says the MD is interested in ISO 27001 certification. I wonder if the consumer even cares about that, or if they even know it exists. Certifications can bring a perceived competency, but is rarely, not always the case, but rarely is it as persuasive as something that drives the core benefit they want. I worked with the Chimney Cleaners Association now decades ago, and they were selling safe, clean chimneys. But what they should have been selling, what we translated to, is roaring fires. People don't care about a clean chimney until they have a problem. But every time they're like, oh, is the fire roaring in the fireplace? What's the core benefit people want? What are they really getting from you? And that's usually where you double down on your USP.
Yep, absolutely. It is all about understanding what they really want. And a lot of times what you think they want is not actually what they want. And what you think makes you unique is not actually what makes you unique in the eyes of your clients. So that's the benefit of having somebody else to take a look in from the outside as well.
Now I got to be a little bit of a party pooper. I know you're going to do the next announcement. I got to split because I got to get prepped for an early flight out. So I just want to thank again everyone for being here, for supporting the Pumpkin Plan. I hope it serves you and transform you in your business. I've been saying, and Donna, you know this line, they say small business is the backbone of the economy. I call BS. Small business is the economy. So
Yes,
keep it going.
absolutely. Thanks for coming, Mike.
Thank you
Talk
guys.
to you
I'll see you.
soon.
See you in a bit.
So just to keep you here, even though Mike left, we're going to do the second contest. And this is easy. In order to enter the contest, I'll tell you, later how we're going to pick. You just need to answer a question, yes or no. So just to enter, just answer yes or no. The question is, do you have any clients that you love so much that you would want to clone them over and over again in your business? And I'm going to post this in the chat. Oh, look, I have so many yeses. All right. Okay. Oh, this is awesome. Oh, no, somebody said no. Okay. So I'm sorry that we have a couple no's, but mostly yeses. So here's how we're going. So that's great. So the next thing to do is to figure out how to attract more of them. And that's part of the pumpkin plan process, and fewer of the ones that you would never want to attract. So I'm going to tell you who the winner is. I'm going to pick a number out of a hat, and whoever was that number to answer. So in other words, if I pick number 2, whoever was the second person gets it. So I'm picking out of a hat right now. Number 15. Okay. So Steve, tell another pumpkin plan story while I'm counting.
Well, they had a good segue, and then about it's not what you think you are providing. So I did my first wish list interview. So I thought people were hiring us because we would turn their grass green and their weeds would be gone and bugs wouldn't eat their lawn up. But after doing the wish list interview, what we discovered was that we're really a communication company. And why our giant pumpkins loved us was because there was people to answer the phone. There was people, our techs, when they were at the house, could have conversations with them. So what I did was I hired 2 people in my company, and I did the Clifton Strength test on them, and they are both communication, positivity, and adaptability are in their top 3. So they love people, they love to talk, they have a really positive attitude. So they answer the phone. One is inbound, one is outbound. And it was so important for my customers to have this communication with them, that they can get somebody on the phone or text or email or a Facebook message. And that was really what people wanted, because they could buy that service predictably from most providers. But they can't get the communication. And when you see the book, when you watch the book, I talk about that. And then my second wish list interview was the same thing. And that's when I really got serious. And I hired the second person to be on the phone. And then I was in the movie there, I was talking with one of my customers and asking her, we're kind of doing a mock wish list interview, what's your biggest frustration? And it doesn't really matter whether it's a contractor, a doctor, the hospital, teachers, anyone. The biggest frustration was people not calling them back or not getting back to them. And the real reason behind that typically is people are in relationships. My wife asked me to call somebody. I say, honey, I got this. I call the house painter up. They come over, they look at it. I'll get you a quote. A week goes by. My wife is like, did you get the quote? No. I'll call the painter. I call the painter. I leave a message. 3 days go by. Did you get the quote? No, I left a message for the painter. So I got to call the painter back. Now it's 5 more days. So she's like, am I going to have to do this? I just asked you to get a quote for the house. And this just goes on and on, whether it's the husband or the wife. And it's so frustrating. So by reducing the stress, so when we go on appointments for landscape design, we set the second appointment at the first appointment. So everybody knows when we're going to meet next. So it's as simple as that sounds. It takes all that stress between that, whatever the relationship is, out, that the person is actually doing their job and keeping their word. So that communication, we're really a communication company, and not just a lawn care and landscape business. And no matter what business we're in today, communication is really, really key.
And that really sets you apart. Absolutely. I do want to say that Laura is the winner. And Laura, take a look in the chat. I sent you a direct message. So Laura, please direct message me back so that I can send you the code and the link to retrieve your all access pass. Wendy asks if she can see the video book today. Yes, and I am going to, you might want to wait a couple minutes to see if you win the all access pass. We have one more to give away, but I'm going to post in the chat again how you can purchase the video book. Tomorrow is the official launch, but I'm going to tell you the insider secret. You can get it tonight. You can get it right now if you want it. It is available. So, oops, I just sent that to Laura. I didn't mean to do that. Let me send that to everybody. There we go. Okay. So you can go to litvideobooks.com/the pumpkin plan, and you can purchase either the all access pass and use the code pumpkin50 to get 50% off of the all access pass, or pumpkin 5 to purchase just the pumpkin plan video for $5. And it's normally $25. So that's a decent deal. Okay. And great. All right. So we should just go to the last contest to make sure, because we've only got a few minutes left and I want to make sure that we give away this last all access pass. So let's see, what was the question I was going to ask, Steve? Oh, I know. Okay. If you could get rid of your most difficult client or customer and replace them with a client just like your best client. All right. So this is not just a yes or no. This is, you got to think about it for a minute. What would that do for your business? What would it do for you? Tell me one benefit of getting rid of your worst client and replacing them with a clone of your best client. Think about that. Okay. Less stress, reduce stress. Yeah, the word stress is coming up a lot. Free up time, less stress, more joy. Wow, a lot of people are talking about stress. So this is, as a business owner, dealing with difficult clients, even if you have team members who are dealing with them, that trickles up, right? Right, Steve? Like, it's not just the people who are in your business, like dealing directly with them. That stress just radiates through the whole company.
Yeah, and we take it home. I mean, just raise your hand if you you ever gone home and complained about a client to your spouse or significant other. And like, right, I mean, I do it. My wife gives me 2. And by the 3rd time, I have to, whether it's an employee or a client, I have to make a decision to shut up and stop complaining, or I have to fire them. So if I start to go home and bring that home, because she doesn't deserve it. I mean, we've been together for since we were 20 years old. So, 38 years we've been together. She's heard all my stories. She doesn't want to hear anymore. She knows what the difficult client is, and she didn't marry the business. So me bringing it home, it's not fair. And also, when I had my 2 kids, the grind. You got school, work, homework, bath, bedtime, and it just laundry, meals, and it just rotates and rotates. So I would bring that stress home from these customers. Like, I needed that cash to pay my payroll, and they're floating. I'm their bank, and that was just not a good relationship. So it permeates through your home life, your mental health, your business, and who you are as a person. And then, sometimes you self-medicate. Could be with food, it could be with alcohol, it could be with exercise, it could be with isolation. And we don't deserve that, and our family doesn't deserve that, and our business doesn't deserve that.
Oh, so true. It's also true. I know Andrea is still here. Andrea Walker, are you still here? Yes. Andrea, I don't know if you remember back when we did your top client assessment together about 1 million years ago. What changed in your business after you identified like who your best clients were?
Oh, wow. That's going back a long time. I mean, I think I just started identifying the characteristics of the clients that I wanted to attract, really, and just kind of keeping a list. And when I asked questions and tried to qualify them as clients, and I didn't hear sort of the buzzwords that we kind of came up with during our assessment, it sort of, little red flags came up. And I, eventually you get more comfortable saying no to people, that you don't have to chase every piece of business, or you get more confident talking about, your services and how much it costs and why it costs what it costs. So yeah, I mean, I just thought all clients were good clients, and too many tough conversations at dinner time did not make for an relaxing dinner. So
Oh yeah.
yeah. So.
Yes. And I remember hearing about some of those bad clients too.
Yeah.
So yeah, stress. And it really does feel good when you're excited to go to work every day. And you're excited to work with the clients or see the customers that come in regularly, or, whatever kind of business you have. It makes such a big difference. Okay. So I just want to let you guys know that I picked number 7 this time, and Rory A was the winner. So congratulations, Rory. And to the people who won, I will be sending you instructions how to retrieve your free all access pass, and I hope you enjoy it. And for the rest of you, I did post in the chat, and I can post it again, how you can purchase the Pumpkin Plan video book directly from Lit Video. And you can check out their video library before you decide whether or not you want to do the all access pass or just just do the Pumpkin Plan. But if you get the all access pass, you also get access to Profit First as well as the Pumpkin Plan. So you get 2 Mike Michalowicz books for the price of 1. Okay, so here again in the chat is the link to purchase the Pumpkin Plan video book. I hope you guys enjoy it. We have just a couple minutes left. Does anybody have any other questions? Oh, Allie, I'm sorry. I think, Allie, your hand has probably been up for a while, and I just was so busy doing other things. If you want to, where did Allie go? Now maybe she took her hand down. Allie, if you're still here, feel free to unmute and ask your question there you are.
Yeah, I was actually raising my hand for the comment earlier, and I forgot to lower it. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. Well, Allie is one of our amazing Pumpkin Plan strategists, actually. So, and I know you've seen the Pumpkin Plan strategy make a difference for your clients as well.
Huge. Yeah. It's changed everything. Yeah. I used to just offer, so my background is in branding and marketing. And ever since I started implementing the Pumpkin Plan for my clients, it's changed their results just exponentially. It's been incredible.
Okay. So Cole and Eric are asking, how do I get connected to a strategist for your company? I'm going to post the link to our directory in the chat right now. Or you could go to pumpkinplanyourbiz.com and click on hire a strategist, and that'll take you to our directory, and you can find somebody who's a good match. And somebody said they're having trouble finding the all access pass. If that's the case, try going just to litvideobooks.com and don't use the Pumpkin Plan extension. And or on the page, I think if you scroll down, it'll give you the option of a 3-day free trial, which is actually for the all access pass, and you should be able to put the coupon code in. But hopefully you can hopefully you'll be able to figure out how to purchase the all access pass. But try just going directly to litvideobooks.com and take off the Pumpkin Plan extension and
Scroll
see if that
down.
works.
Yes. Scroll.
Oh, or
Definitely
scroll.
to about maybe at least a half a screen, and there'll be the all access pass. Click on that like you're going to buy it, and then put in that all access pass coupon.
Yeah. Oh, Andrea is asking, what does all access mean? So Lit Video Books has a whole library full of video books by some really amazing authors like Michael Bungay-Stanier and Robert Cialdini and a whole bunch of others. So the all access pass gives you access to their whole library for a year. And that includes any new books that come in over the year. Oh, so Terry's saying she's not in the directory yet, but Terry, you have to submit your info to the directory. But she specializes in food business, and she put her email right in there. So if anybody wants to reach out directly to Terry, if you're in the food business, I did see a couple of people who have coffee shops or who were talking about coffee shops. So Terry is definitely your person. And that reminds me that I was going to put the link in here. Let me just type it out so that you can go directly to the directory. So I just put the link to the directory in there, or you can just go to pumpkinplanyourbiz.com, download our free booster pack, and then click on at the top, hire a strategist, and it will take you to our directory. And if you want us to match you with somebody instead of you going through the directory, scroll down, fill out the form, and we'll do that for you. Where do you put in your coupon code? I think if you register, Rhonda, if you go to register, there should be a space for a coupon code. I think you enter your email maybe, or you enter your information, and before you pay, there should be a spot for a coupon code. And if there's not, I mean, there should be. I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed. Is there somebody from Lit Video Books here? Because I did invite, if there's somebody from Lit here right now, please feel free to unmute and let us, and maybe help us out here a bit. Okay. So I thought that Allison was going to be here, but from Lit, but I don't see any. It's saying that the coupon is invalid. Okay. Try it tomorrow. The book is available now, but I think, I'm sorry, guys, I forgot. It's going live tomorrow. So tomorrow is the launch of the book. So wait till tomorrow and the coupon code should work. That's what's wrong. Steve, you should have reminded me today is only Monday. I'm frustrating people. Never frustrate your prospective.
Oh, I know. You give the
customers.
prizes and they can't use it. It's awful.
Well, they can use the access, the all accesses that we're giving away. I will be sending them tomorrow, and they can use them. But yeah, the coupon codes I think will be live tomorrow. That's probably the problem, because the official launch is tomorrow.
Is Tuesday.
Is Tuesday, the 12th.
Right.
Yeah. So nobody buy it before then, because you don't want to pay full price when you can get it for half price tomorrow. Or I'm going to be sneaky here, and I'm going to see if they have a different coupon code for today. If anybody wants to hang on for a second, I will check my email, because they send me emails all the time.
People are saying that the code worked. Karen,
Did it work?
Wendy, Michelle. Yeah. When I bought it, because they give me an access pass because I was in it, I had to go, I had to try twice, and then I had to scroll down, and once I found it, I was good.
Okay.
But the first time I was not successful.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's a little annoying, but at least it worked. So, so try again. But if it doesn't work today, then it'll work tomorrow. But if they're saying it worked today, then I would say just give it the old first try, second try, third try.
Yeah, and if it doesn't work, just contact Donna at pumpkinplanmybiz.com.
It's Pumpkin Plan Your Biz, Steve.
Your biz. Your
It
biz.
says it right there under my name, Pumpkin Plan Your Biz.
There we go.
But people do this all the time. they
They
call
do.
us Pumpkin Plan My Biz, and like, you're not going to find us. It's Pumpkin Plan Your Biz. Although
Your
maybe my
Biz.
next company, I'll name it Pumpkin Plan My Biz.
There
So,
you go.
anyway, thank you all. I'm just going to check the chat real quick and see if there's any other, questions that I can answer. Pumpkin Plan My Coffee House. So Terry is a pumpkin plant strategist who specializes in food. And so if you want help pumpkin planting your coffee house, Terry is here. We also have another pumpkin plant strategist who actually specializes just in coffee houses. So you've got your pick. And I am going to say, let's see, coupon is invalid. All right, but we worked that out. It's
Can
definitely
you put the
Monday.
link back up, Donna? Someone said they logged off and it's not showing.
Sure, the link to the video book. Yep.
With
Let
the
me-
coupon, yep.
Yep. I will do it again. Give me a second. Yeah, what happens is like if you're not, yeah, it like kind of scrolls off or whatever. So let me post it again.
There
All
we
right.
go.
Yeah, so some people are getting an error processing the subscription for some reason. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not my company, so I don't know why it's not working, but I would just say try again, and if it doesn't work tonight, try again. Maybe too many people are trying. Maybe we're breaking lit video books. Is that possible?
Breaking the internet.
We are. That can happen sometimes. They may not, their system might not be used to getting a bunch of people going all at once. So it is possible that it's just slow. So I would just say try again, and do email me. If you really can't get it to work, send me an email. I'm going to just forward them all to Lit and tell them fix this and help these people get their video books. So I'm happy to do that because it really is worth it. I think, you know, I haven't seen their other video books, but I've watched Profit First and Pumpkin Plan, and literally get your popcorn and kick your feet up. And they're fun. They're really well done. They'll give you some really good ideas about some actionable steps that you could take today in your business to make some changes. If you type Google into Google, it will break the internet. Okay. Well, my goal is actually not to break the whole internet. Not usually anyway. Okay. Oh, somebody said, all right, Tamika said it worked. All right. So I just think it's maybe having a little bit of overload issues. So thank you all for coming. I'm going to turn off the recording.